Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available on the counter in the lobby. The Planning Commission's bylaws limit the applicant of a subdivision application and his or her representatives to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the Commission may extend these times by a majority vote. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please share your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the room. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. All speakers at the podium, please remove your face mask before speaking into the microphone. Before we begin the agenda, Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this.
Good morning. Welcome to the Thursday, July 2nd, 2026 Subdivision and Utility Advisory Committee. We'll begin with opening announcements.
Recording in progress.
Before we begin the agenda, the Wichita-Sedgwick County Metropolitan Area Planning Commission would like to take this opportunity to welcome everyone to this public hearing. Copies of the agenda for today's meeting, the public hearing procedure, and Planning Department staff reports on all agenda items are available on the counter in the lobby. The Planning Commission's bylaws limit the applicant of a subdivision application and his or her representatives to a total of 10 minutes of speaking time at the start of the hearing on that item, plus up to 2 minutes at the conclusion of that hearing. All other persons wishing to speak on agenda items are limited to 3 minutes per person. However, if they feel that it is needed and justified, the Commission may extend these times by a majority vote. All speakers are requested to state his or her name and address for the record when beginning to speak. When you are finished speaking, please share your name, address, and the case number on the sheet provided in the room. This will enable staff to notify you if there are any additional proceedings concerning that item. All speakers at the podium, please remove your face mask before speaking into the microphone.
Okay, we'll move to roll call.
Yes, ma'am. Bill Johnson.
Present.
Bob Dewell.
Here.
Jocelyn Clontz.
Here.
Doug Hine. Here. Leon Mader. Here. John Williamsby. Here. Tim Austin. Here. And I show all 7 members present.
Thank you. Before we move to consent items, item number 5, sub 2026 00038, the Prairie Willow edition, has been deferred to July 16th. Item number 6, sub 2026 00004, Pawnee South edition, has been deferred to July 6th. And item number 12, vacation 2026 00013, has been deferred to August 20th. And we'll move to determine consent items. Today, instead of hearing each item individually, we will move the items that we'd like to hear to the end of the agenda. So we'll determine consent items, kind of like the full MAPC meetings. So we'll start with item number 2, sub 2026 00036. It's deferred from June 18th. It's the preliminary plat for St. Paul 2 Independent School Edition. It's located south along North 21st Street West and a quarter mile east of West 135th Street North. It's in the county 3-mile ring. We'll hear from staff.
There's no additional comments for this. They have worked out the contingent right-of-way dedication for this project. So,
Okay, thank you. Any updates from the Utility Advisory Board?
Daniel Shine with Sedgwick County Public Works. We are in agreement with the contingent right-of-way. I do just want to point out for the city of Wichita that if it does change to a contingent right-of-way, your first comment is comments will need to change if that is not going to be public right-of-way. So I don't know if that changes your comments at this point.
Chris with the City of Wichita Public Works. Items 2 and 3, I think, have to be changed from no protest to requiring petitions, but I think we had talked about that with Boffman before. Uh, if he disagrees, he can let me know.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from the commission who would like to hear this case? Applicant or agent, would you like to hear this case, or are you in agreement?
We would like to hear the case.
Okay, we'll go ahead and pull this item. Okay, moving on to item 3, sub 2026-00027. It was deferred from the June 18th subdivision meeting. It's a one-step final plat, the Husami Second Edition, located along South 143rd Street East and within a half-mile south of East Harry Street. It's in the county 3-mile ring. We'll hear from staff first for an update.
No additional comments or revisions to this staff report.
Thank you. Are there any updates from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, would anyone from the commission like to hear this case? Seeing none, applicant or agent, do you agree with staff comments, or would you like to hear this case? Okay. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to hear this case? Seeing none, we'll bring it back for a motion or discussion.
Move to approve for staff comments. Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Williams Bay and a second by Commissioner Johnson. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Item 4, sub 2026-00034. It was deferred from the June 18th subdivision meeting. It's a one-step final plat, the Prairie Creek Estates, located along East 93rd Street North and a quarter-mile east of North 95th Street East. It's in the county. We'll hear from staff first.
No additional comments or revisions to the staff report presented.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone from the advisory board who would like to provide additional comment? Seeing none, would any commissioners like to hear this case? Commissioner Austin would like to hear this case. We will pull this item to hear later. Items 5 and 6 were deferred. We're moving to item 7, sub 2026-00016. It's a final plat, the Harvest Valley Estates Second, located southeast corner of West 79th Street South and South 215th Street West. It's in the county. We'll get an update from staff.
Just quick comment, item B, County Stormwater Management has approved the drainage plan subject to floodway reserve easement, cross lot drainage agreement, and minimum pad elevations to be shown on the plat. So, and that's it.
Okay, thank you. Is there any comment from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, would any of the commissioners like to hear this case? Okay. Okay, we'll go ahead and take the question first.
Greg, I had a question for you. Just a clarification on since I'm still relatively new, but the question is doing with the water. The recommendation was, since they are within the rural water district number 4, there's a recommendation for connection to the rural water district. Since the water policy has been raised as an issue, as I understand it, and do we have the ability to require connection to the rural water district?
I'm not for sure, but I don't think there's a requirement to connect to that. If it's, available and feasible, then it's recommend that they connect to it, but I'm not quite for sure if there's an actual requirement, if it's in the district, that they do connect to it. And the agent may provide more information on what they plan on doing with the water for this plat.
All right, thank you.
Yep.
Would you like to pull this case?
And part of me says yes, and part of me says no. I mean, because the water has been flagged as an issue by the commission as something to consider. For instance, if we plat a property within the urban area of city of Wichita, there's a requirement to hook to water and sewer by ordinance when possible. It's something I think that we need to discuss. I don't know that it's a matter that's going to get resolved today with this particular application. I mean, it's consistent with others, so I probably not need to hear it. But that question of water connection if they're within the water district, I think that my feeling is that needs to be more thoroughly examined. Other than, I mean, the rural water district, they can contact them, they can determine if meters are available, if there's a line in that proximity, what that cost is. I think that's information that in the future we should be requesting.
Okay. Applicant or agent, would you like to have this case heard, or do you agree with staff comments?
We're in agreement with staff comments.
Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we can bring it back to commission.
Move to approve per staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Austin. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Item number 8, sub 2026 00039. It is a preliminary plat, the Ridgeport North 7th edition. It's located along West 37th Street North and within a half-mile east of North Ridge Road. It's in the city. We'll hear from staff for an update first.
There are no additional comments or additions to the staff report presented.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional comments from the advisory board? Seeing none, would anyone from the commission like to hear this case? Seeing none, applicant or agent, would you like to speak on this, or are you in agreement with staff comments? Is the applicant or agent present? Okay, thank you. Okay, we can bring it back to the commission for a vote.
Move to approve per staff comments.
Did I forget public?
There's a waiver
Oh, there is,
on
okay.
it. Just wanted to make sure
Okay.
that was on there for the record.
Okay.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Austin,
And improve the waiver request.
including the waiver. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, city.
City of Wichita, sorry if I missed my spot to talk, but we haven't seen a utility plan for this, so we're just wondering if that was coming our way to request additional easements.
Yeah, it's a preliminary plat, so it could come with the final.
I apologize.
That's okay.
Chris Rose with Baughman Company, agent for the applicant. It is a preliminary plat. We did supply them with a utility concept when we submitted the plat.
Okay, thank you. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Austin and a second by Commissioner Dool. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Item number 9, sub 2026 00028. It's a one-step final plat for the Moorings Plaza addition, located on West 53rd Street North and North Meridian Avenue in the city. We'll hear from staff for an update.
Just a real quick update. Item A5, under City Public Works comments regarding sanitary sewer main acquisition fees are due. That comment has been removed. from the report. So,
Okay, thank you. Are there any comments from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, would anyone from the commission like to hear this case? Seeing none, applicant or agent, are you in agreement with staff comment? You'd like to hear it? Okay. We will pull item number 9 to here. Moving to item number 10, sub 2026 00029. It's a one-step final plat, the Moorings 12th edition, located on West 53rd Street North and North Meridian Avenue. It's in the city. We'll hear from staff for an update.
just a quick update, item A5 under City Public Works Utilities comment about acquisition fees for sewer. Comment has been removed.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional comments from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, would anyone from the commission like to hear this case? Seeing none, applicant or agent, would you like to hear this case? Okay, we'll hear item number 10 as well. Moving to item number 11, sub 2026 00040, one-step final plat for the Somewhere Edition, located on the southwest corner of East 2nd Street and North Emporia. It's in the city. We'll hear from staff for an update.
Okay, sorry. Let me get my. So, there are no additional comments or revisions
Okay,
to the report.
thank you, Greg. Are there any additional comments from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none. Any questions, comments from the commission? Seeing none. Applicant or agent, do you agree to staff comments?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we can bring it back to commission for a vote.
Move to approve for staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Williams-Bay. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Item number 12 has been deferred. Item 13, vacation 2026 00022. It's a vacation request in the city to vacate a portion of a building setback on a property zoned SF5, single-family residential district, located on the southwest corner of West 46th Street South and South Euclid Avenue. We'll hear from staff for an update.
There are no updates for this case.
Okay, thank you. Are there any additional comments from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, would anyone from the commission like to hear this case? Seeing none, the applicant or agent, do you agree to staff comment? Is the applicant or agent available? Hi.
Hi, Sharon Stubbs, 2107 West 46th Street South.
Do you agree to have you read the staff report? Do
I
you
did.
agree?
Uh-huh,
Okay,
yes.
then you don't need to take any action.
Okay,
Thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission for a vote.
Move to approve for staff comments. Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Williams-Bay and a second by Commissioner Johnson. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Moving to item 14, vacation 2026 00023. It's a vacation request in the city for a drainage easement, utility easement, and a portion of a platted utility easement located south of East 29th Street North and west of North Rock Road. We'll We'll hear from staff.
Small update. So as noted in the staff report, line 18 has a public water line and line 11 has a public sanitary sewer line. Line 11 has now been removed from the application. So the second point from Public Works can be removed. In speaking with the applicant, condition number 1, the public water line is in the process of being abandoned.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other updates or comments from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none. Does anyone from the commission would like to hear this case? Seeing none. Applicant or agent, do you agree to staff comments? Yes, okay. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this? Seeing none, we'll bring it to the commission for a vote.
Move to approve for staff comments.
I'll second that. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Austin and a second by Commissioner Klontz. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Moving to item 15, vacation 2026 00024. It's a vacation request in the city to relocate a utility easement to allow development of a warehouse located on the southwest corner of West University Avenue and South Holland Lane. We'll hear from staff for an update.
There are no updates for this case.
Okay, thank you. Is there any additional comment from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, would any of the commissioners like to hear this case? Seeing none. Applicant or agent, do you agree to staff comments?
Yes, we're good.
Okay. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we can bring it back for a vote.
Let's move to approve for staff comments.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Duell. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Passes 7-0. Okay, now we're gonna move back to the items that we like to hear, starting with item number 2. It's sub 2026 00036 is deferred from the June 18th subdivision. The preliminary plat for the St. John Paul II Independent School Edition located on North 21st Street West and West 135th Street North in the county.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff, here to present St. John Paul II Independent School Edition. This is preliminary one lot residential plat in the city within 3 miles of city Wichita. If you go to the plat, please. There's one waiver requested, depth to width ratio for this lot 1. Go through staff comments. Item A, MABCD, soils test and memo shall be obtained. Item B, Public Works and Utilities. As stated earlier, I'll let utilities address the comments to revisions, but they request additional utility easements. Item C, County Public Works, no comment. Item D, County Fire Service Drive Code compliance, and also states that a municipal fire hydrant and water supply may be required. Item E, County Stormwater Management, drainage plan is approved. Item F, City Stormwater Management, no issues. Item G, Environmental Health, comment regarding properly installed irrigation wells. Item H, Traffic Engineering, approves of right-of-way and openings. Item I, Planning Department, identifies a bicycle master plan network running through the subdivision, and so a 20-foot public access easement is requested. Item J, County Surveying to review time of final plat submittal. Item K, Evergy will not need additional easements. And item L, Cedar County Electric Co-op requests additional easements, and those have been forwarded to the agent. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Greg. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none. Are there any questions or comments from the Utility Advisory Board?
Hey, this is Chris from City of Wichita Public Works. Yes, we have a few new comments. Petition for water and sewer are required. Water transmission and sanitary sewer acquisition fees are owed, and advises that outside city rates will be applied to water and sewer if they connect, and advises that an outside city water and sewer agreement will needed to be signed, and as a condition of which any application for water or sewer service waives the owner's right to protest annexation by the city of Wichita, and advises that water and sewer, they do have, the plat kind of goes up flag lots to 21st Street. Water and sewer connections wouldn't be allowed over there. The lines are too deep and big, and we do request additional easements from the north side of the plat to the south side, but we can talk to the agent and figure out what's best for them and what works for us.
Okay, thank you. We'll hear from the agent next. You'll have 10 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, good morning. Thomas Joyce with Baughman Company here, agent for the applicant. Our address is 315 South Ellis here in Wichita, 67211. Also with me today, Jason Minges, the school president, Will Durant, the principal, and Jay Sig on the development board. So if you have any specific questions about the school or kind of their purposes or intents, they'd be happy to answer. I'll kind of use Chris's last statement there as a jumping off point. We have been working with MABCD and with the county and with the city for a while now. We met with MABCD and county fire back in March to kind of discuss some of the development issues and challenges and you know, what size of building is appropriate and paving and kind of things like that. So we've been at this for a while now. And what Chris said there at the end of this is a preliminary plat, and we're looking to keep working together to figure out what's best for the school. They're looking to build about a 15,000 square foot building here in the southwest part. Kind of that nice row of trees will be taken out, and that's where the building is going to go. All the existing, you know, the event hall here, all the existing canopies and the playground structure and everything, that's all going to remain. That's, and again, this is a preliminary plat. We want to keep working with the city to figure out what's best here. We are against the bike path easement, as we had mentioned 2 weeks ago when this case was first heard. Again, this is going to be a school, and there are some existing playground equipment here that those kids are going to be on. The school is about, you know, kindergarten through 8th grade. So there's gonna be young kids back there playing on the playground and everything, and we have some concerns about safety and vandalism. You know, who's watching that playground equipment in the evenings when no one's there, and so that's what we're looking out for. But again, this being a prelim, we want to keep working and get to a reasonable solution. At this point, I'll invite Jason come up and talk a little bit about the kind of unique uses here and why we're looking to stay in the county and not connect into the city. Some of those livestock uses, but.
Jason Minges, 1610 North Lark Lane, Wichita, Kansas. I am the president of the school board. By trade, I'm actually a physician assistant, studied here at Wichita State, but prior to that, I did teach in the USD 259 school district, and I kind of understood what works and what doesn't work in education, but more importantly, I don't have it fully understood, but also what's possible too. For the last, when the school opened in 2022, we started in Colwich. We did that for 3 years. We're currently located in temporary property on 21st Street. We looked from everywhere from Andale to Cheney to Lake Afton, and we were trying to find a place that was in close proximity to the city, but also gave us that agricultural component. And with Eberly Farms coming to us, it seemed like this was the great opportunity for us to kind of strike that balance. St. John Paul II, we base our education, it's a classical education, but it's also partnered with the common arts. And that common arts, so classical allows children to immerse themselves in reading, writing, mathematics, and seeing that take place in nature. So seeing it, but the common arts allows them to immerse themselves in it and get their hands into the soil. With that being said, we have beehives. We've had to put those on hold as we're in a temporary space. We've extracted honey. We have a grant for a greenhouse. The kids are really going to get in and start building things. And we want to start doing some animal husbandry. And as much as I've gotten a great education about how city works and learned some new vocabulary here as well too, you guys want to make sure you're protecting what you're looking moving forward. And we just want to make sure we don't sign on to something that it restricts our curriculum. And so our hope ultimately for our students is that they can see the good, the true, and the beautiful and help them launch confidently out into the deep. And we believe this property provides that opportunity, and working with the city and county to make that happen, we think we can do that as long as we can protect some things to open that curriculum for the animals, the greenhouses, and things like that. So with that, I'll turn it back over to Thomas, and I thank you very much for your time.
I believe that summed up my presentation pretty well. With that, I'll stand for any questions.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the agent or applicant? Commissioner Johnson?
This stays in the county, but you're going to go ahead and petition for city water and sewer?
We are, again, with this being a prelim, we would look to not petition. We're talking through if no protest agreement, that's probably where we'll end up. But no, we're not looking to petition at this time.
Thank you.
There any, Commissioner Austin?
Had a follow-up question on that. So the recommendation is for the no protest petition, which, or no protest agreement, which requires a waiver of protest. And to your question, the putting a petition for future services at such time it's annexed is a different question to me. And I guess part of it's also back to city water. Would they accept petitions for future service upon annexation without and forgo the no protest agreement?
City of Wichita, Crestone, Public Works and Utilities. It's kind of difficult to say. City of Wichita requires any property within 150 feet has to connect to city sewer. This is supposedly going to be a county plat, so I would have to talk with county. And Daniel may not. I don't know. It'd be with county regulations how you guys require sewer to be if there's a distance between a possible connection like what we have, whether or no that would determine whether we could.
Might be a better question for MABCD, but County Public Works doesn't have any requirements for storm or water hookups or anything like that. I think the applicant is working with KDHE to find out if it's allowable.
Yes.
And I don't know the history of that, but we don't have anything on our side.
Yeah, just to jump in real quick, the 150-foot requirement that Chris is mentioning, that's in the City of Wichita Code, Chapter 16 there. And so with us staying in the Sedgwick County, the unincorporated area, I don't know how that distance applies.
Commissioner Johnson?
I guess what I want to say is this is a county plat. I can't see how we can require city utilities and sign petitions. And since this is just a plat, this is not a building permit. Once they pull a building permit, that's when that stuff will come about. They'll either have to do it or not do it.
That sums up our stance as well.
If I may jump in, Kirk Sponsa, Deputy County Councilor, I certainly appreciate this as a preliminary plat, so I think on the back end, some of this stuff can further be worked out. In terms of questions about the overlap between city water in this situation, things of that nature, I think it would be benefit at this time for the board to be aware of, let me see, section 8 regarding improvements. That's going to be section 8-103D when they talk about the water supply systems. they do say in subsection 1, within an urban growth area, which this does appear to be for the city of Wichita, the subdivider shall contact the city to which the urban growth area pertains, as designated in the most recently adopted version of the Wichita-Sedgwick County Comprehensive Plan, to determine the financial feasibility of connecting the proposed subdivision to the city water system. If financially feasible, then the subdivision shall be connected to the city's water system in accordance with that city's standards. So I just want to say that's where it comes into play, where we're looking at potential city standards, even when we are still in the county.
And I believe it also mirrors that for sanitary sewer.
But that doesn't, that's also a separate issue from the annexation.
You are correct. That annexation is separate from what's being discussed here.
Are there any other questions for the applicant or agent? Seeing none, thank you. Is there anyone else from the public who would like to speak on this item? We'll bring it back to commission for further discussion.
I'd make a approve per staff comments with the waiver, excluding the bike path and also the petition for sewer and water.
Second.
Just to clarify, the sewer and water section, that's actually in chapter 8, so you cannot actually waive that. There's different standards for overriding that. So in effect, it would be essentially for the bike path. That would be the applicable waiver.
But wouldn't it, for clarification, since I second the motion, you're talking specifically to items B2 and B3, which is the no protest, which is a separate issue for the.
Yes.
Does your second stand, Commissioner Austin?
Yes.
If I may have just 1 second to review that. B2 and B3?
Correct.
So this is speaking from the county side of things. I will defer to city legal if they want to take a separate stance on this, but to the extent that your waiver is focused on formal request for annexation or formal petition for annexation in the future, county side at this time, I'm okay with that. Unless it's specifically listed within city standards.
Jenna Morgan, City Legal. At this point, the city agrees with the waivers.
Okay. We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Austin. I would like to make a substitute motion in this. So I would like to form my motion to be the same as Commissioner Johnson's, with the exception of item I, keeping the easement for the bike path intact. So we'll vote on the substitute motion first. We have a motion to approve.
Madam Chairman, point of order. I believe Commissioner High made a call for the question motion before you made your motion, and by Robert's rules, that is, we have to take action on his call for the question.
Okay, thank you for the clarification.
Okay, If you want me to look at the procedures for Robert Rules, I can certainly pull that up.
I'm not a parliamentarian, but that's always been my understanding on every board I've ever been on. I don't know about anybody else, but I have the Jeopardy tune going in my head while we're patiently waiting.
If I could just provide additional information, simply getting city water and sewer does not automatically mean they are annexed. That's something that happens down the line, and planning might be able to speak with when that might actually happen.
Okay, I do not have the entirety of Robert Rules in front of me at this time. But I would believe in concept that probably a call to question would be a formal motion that did require a second, and I don't know that that was formally seconded. So I would say that the alternative motion would take in effect prior to that.
Okay, so we'll start with the substitute motion, correct? Okay, so we have the substitute motion by Commissioner Klontz, seconded by Commissioner Mader. Commissioner Austin, do you have something to
Just
add?
for clarification, could Greg show us on the plat where the location of this requested bike path easement is to be located?
If you go to the next screen. It's located up here, this brown squiggly line within that red circle. Where exactly that is on the plat, I'm not quite for sure, but it's probably would assume that it's along that creek bed somewhere along there.
Commissioner Dool?
I would like
to hold the button down.
excuse me, which side of the creek that bike path is on, because that would address the applicant's comments about that.
All the information that we have, and I don't have the full bike study with me right now.
This is from City GIS. It shows it on the west side of the creek.
Oh, okay. Yeah, but I think this was an older version.
Oh.
But yeah. But according to the GIS, which was based on previous version bike path, which was not the 2024, but it did show on the east side of the creek. So my assumption would be that that was carried over to the 2024 bike path master plan.
Commissioner Mader?
So if it's on the east side, then that would separate it from the playground across the creek. Am I correct with that? Could you please help us with that? Because it looks to me like the creek would then be between it.
Yep, if we could go back to the preliminary plat, please. There is some existing playground equipment on the east side of the creek there. There is a bridge, a wooden bridge that crosses over. So looking at the mouse, here's the bridge that's over there, and there's the playground equipment. And so yeah, that playground equipment would be, according to the GIS map that we have here, in direct conflict with the bike path easement.
Commissioner Mader?
Just to speak on this for a second, I've for many years worked on bicycle paths and accessibility, and we often hear about security being an issue, concerns about security, and I for one, who pay pretty close attention, have never seen an issue from the bicycle path being a problem with security. So I just don't see that as being the concern that it's blown up to be. So I will be supporting your motion.
Thank you. Commissioner Austin?
Yeah, I was just going to say I won't be able to support the substitute motion. I have a lot of difficulty in requiring easements, perpetual easement for improvements which may or may never ever happen. And it's, I mean, there's no capital improvement program identifying anything in the next, any identifiable years for actual pathway to be there. There's no connection to the south, guarantee that there's any going to be a connection to the south. It's kind of the analogy is the Northwest Expressway in the county, which I'm involved in. It's difficult to encumber people's property and their property rights when we don't have a identifiable project. Brown line on a map doesn't, it's a wish list, and I appreciate that, but at the same time, is that 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, or never?
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Williams Bay?
Is this the project we discussed a couple of weeks ago about being in the floodplain, the bike path, or not? Or that was a different project?
Yes, that area is in the floodplain. But just to kind of reiterate, just because it's in the floodplain and we're not able to put a building back there doesn't mean that that space isn't usable by the owner.
So is that on the same side as the bike path? Is the bike path, that proposed bike path in the floodplain?
Yes.
Thank you.
Kirk Sponsor, County Councilor, if I may hop in, I know the discussion has moved on to the bike path. I would actually like to circle back to the question of consent for annexation. Upon reviewing further, there is a different section that does address this, and so I was incorrect in my prior statements. So I would reference section 8-105A5, which does say petitions for future municipal services for urban developments within a city's adopted growth area must include consent to annexation. Annexation petitions will not be activated until the development is contiguous to established corporate city limits unless approved by the county commission. So I would walk back my prior statement, and I would say you could not waive that request for consent to annexation in the future.
If I may, thank you. So should the motion be restated?
I would recommend a motion be restated.
Thank you.
I had my mind on the bike path, so let me address that and then I'll go back to that. I understand Mr. Mader's comments about this, but I don't know how many bike paths go in the middle of a school system playground area. I think that's a different situation, and we have to look at it being a school versus in an open park or whatever. Other thing with change our motion to say we would accept the requirement for annexation.
Okay, I need to amend my substitute motion as well.
And just for procedurally, Commissioner Johnson, did you make the original motion? Okay, your second would need to agree with that change.
I think technically we're still dealing with the substitute motion, notwithstanding Commissioner's desire or to change his motion. I think we still need to deal with the substitute motion first.
Okay. So that's been indicated that you are interested in changing your substitute motion, correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay, and that is to remove the waiver of the annexation language?
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Mader, does your second reflect that as well?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll call for a vote on the substitute motion first. Is there any further discussion?
And so, just for clarification, because you removed the waiver for the annexation and you still want to do the bike path, then it would essentially be moved to approve per staff comment because staff are requesting the bike path.
Okay.
Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I agree. I'm sorry to be difficult, but since counselor is involved, I think the question I have is just some clarification. The language here on 2 and 3 is very specific. It says, request a no protest agreement for future extension of sewer, and the second one's future extension of water. Is the waiver of annexation, is that the same as a no protest agreement?
Yes, yes, I would take it as such. I mean, that's what no protest agreements are. Is they are they are accepting or they are actively requesting annexation.
But if I might, as I understand the no protest agreements in the past, that is a template formed by the city as to the requirements within that framework of the no protest agreement. Some of which the property owner may or may not be in agreement with. So I guess that's why I'm asking. A waiver saying we'll agree to annex still, in my mind, leaves the owner the latitude to have those discussions on those conditions upon which they would agree to be annexed, versus a complete waiver and subjecting themselves to the conditions that the city wants to impose upon the owner for the condition of annexation. Does that make sense?
I apologize. No, I don't follow.
Sorry, it's just an engineer thing. My question is the no protest agreement that I've been associated with the past. It's pretty much the city says we're going to annex you, and these are the conditions. You waive your rights to do anything relative to the condition of annexation. The terminology of waiving annexation, I guess my question is for the motion maker, is by asking waiving of the annexation, does that mean that you're adopting 2 and 3 specifically? Because to me, those are two different things. The waiver versus saying to the applicant he has to accept the no protest agreement.
City of Wichita law, Jenna Morgan, that is the way I'm reading it is a no protest agreement, in essence, is the annexation agreement. Although I do understand your thought process and where you're coming from, that is not something that I have seen. Maybe Kirk has a little more insight on that.
I mean, I would also point out, once again, this is a preliminary plat. And so I do think that likely the applicants would have the opportunity to view the form that would be available to them. And potentially those concerns could be raised at a future date if they do have issues with some of the wording.
Okay, I think that the waiver would be the way to go then under that circumstance.
Okay.
And specifically leave it not as 2 and 3, but just waive or agree to annex, I guess is how I would say it.
Would you like to make a motion on that?
I would, but I'm not supporting the bike path easement, so.
Okay. Any other discussion?
City of Wichita law, I would suggest you finish with the substitute motion first.
Okay, so substitute motion is per staff comment. It includes the bike path in staff comment. Yes, okay. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? No. So it's 3-4. So it fails.
So just for the record, the vote was 3-4. The dissenters were High, Williams Bay, Johnson, and Austin. Is that correct? Okay.
Okay, so now we go back to the original motion, which was indicated by Commissioner Johnson that they did want to amend to remove the reference to the annexation language dealing with the water and sewer. So in essence, it would be moved to approve per staff comments, but with the waiver of the bike path requirement. Is that correct?
Yes.
And is that seconded? Okay, are there any other seconds for that motion then? Okay, that is seconded.
So we have a motion by Commissioner Johnson and a second by Commissioner Dool. All those in favor, please say aye. Those opposed, same sign? No? Aye. So I even did it wrong. Let's do a vote.
Oh, the
or
quick
voice-
roll call.
Yeah.
Roll call vote. So for the original motion, Bill Johnson,
Yes.
Bob Dool,
Yes.
Jocelyn Clontz,
No.
Doug High,
Yes.
Leon Mader,
No.
John Williamsby, Tim Austin. So it passes 4-3.
4-3. Okay. Okay, moving on to item number 4. Sub 2026-00034 is deferred from June 18th. It's a one-step final plat. Prairie Creek Estates, located on East 93rd Street North and East 95th Street East. It's in the county. We'll get a report from staff first.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff, here to present Prairie Creek Estates. This is a 4-lot residential plat within the county. There are no waivers requested by the applicant. Go through staff comments. MABCD, this is within Rural Water District Number 1. Memo shall be issued for on-site sewage and domestic water wells if not connected to the rural water district. Item B, County Stormwater Management approves the drainage plan subject to floodway reserve easement and a cross-lot drainage agreement. Item C, Sedgwick County Fire requests a street separating lots 1 and 2 and lots 3 and 4 and 93rd Street to the north side of the plat. Item D, County Public Works states notary signatures and requests 75-foot of right-of-way for internal road. Item E, planning, if public road is required, then street stubs shall be required. Item F, county surveying to comment at time of final Mylar submittal. Item E, Evergy, plat is not served by Evergy distribution. And with that, I'll stand for questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions for staff? Thanks. Seeing none. Thank you, Greg. Are there any additional comments from Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none. We'll hear from the agent or applicant. You'll have 10 minutes to speak. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Dan Garber with Garber Surveying, 544 West Douglas here in Wichita, agent for the applicant. We are in agreement with the staff comments except for the requirement of a public road, item C there. The client is in agreement with widening Reserve B to 70 feet wide. We currently have it at 60 feet, and we'll just make that 70 feet wide and put a contingent right-of-way overlay on that in case there's ever a need for that to be extended further north. There are 2 properties to the north that are larger tracts and will likely be sold that way. So I would stand for, well, the applicant's has requested his counsel also address, so he can use the remainder of my time. Then I'll return if there's questions.
Okay, thank you.
John Barrett. My office is 101 West 1st in Goddard. And quite honestly, I'm kind of saddened I have to be here looking at the statute, the subdivision regulations, and so forth. What the subdivision regulations actually require is not a road. If you look at V, it says that have a potential for a stub street, and it needs to have that as an easement or right of way in the, I'm sorry, 7201, subsection V. You have to have that in the plat, but it doesn't say that we have to have a street there. What, if you go on to X, the dedication of a contingent right-of-way shall be provided upon the determination of the subdivision committee to allow for the city's future needs for urban subdivisions to provide potential street connections to the adjoining undeveloped property to prevent the landlocking of abutting properties and to avoid excessive number of individual driveways along section line roads. If adjoining the plat line, the contingent right-of-way dedication may be a half-street right-of-way. Then skipping about the cities, the platter's text on county plats shall note the contingent right-of-way dedication shall be effective upon the platting of the adjacent subdivision having a street connecting thereto. The cost of constructing said street are to be borne by the person or agency that owns the adjacent subdivision. So it specifically says that the developer here does not need to put in a street, just have the right-of-way for the street, so that the person develops it later, owning the property to the north, they have the ability to put in the street. As noted in the June 18th hearing by the Deputy County Counselor, both the statute and case law are clear that if the developer meets the requirements of the subdivision regulations, you must approve it. You don't get to add additional requirements beyond what is in the subdivision regulations. Look at 12753B. The Planning Commission or Joint Committee shall determine if the plat conforms to the provisions of the subdivision regulations. Skipping some there, but if the plat conforms to the requirements of such regulations, there shall be endorsed thereon the fact that the plat has been submitted to and approved by the Planning Commission or Joint Committee. Now, if you look at Roderick Enterprises LP versus the City of Olathe, it's a 2001 Kansas Court of Appeals case. It is 28 Canap 2nd 860, looking at pages 863 to 864. Assuming the Planning Commission has discretion to apply the regulations, its discretion must be exercised within the limits of the regulations and its statutory authority. Approval of a plat is improperly denied where the plat conforms to all the zoning and subdivision regulations, and Planning Commission standards. Denial must be based on a violation of the regulations and standards which are within the authority conferred by the enabling legislation. The fire chief himself said at 1 hour, 58 minutes and 0 seconds that this absolutely does comply with the subdivision regulations, but he didn't like it because he wanted a street put in there. You don't get to do that. That isn't something that you can come in and later decide that you want to add requirements. My clients have spent a lot of money on this, on developing this, getting the land ready so people can move in, buying it at a price that was for development, not for agricultural purposes. And if the city, or excuse me, if the commission here is going to deny it, I'm not going to have any choice but to recommend that they file suit in the matter. I mean, we've got absolute compliance with the regulations, and you must approve it.
Thank you. Are there any questions?
Just one point of clarification for you first, Kirk. You didn't make that comment. Justin was here last time in your place, and so he was the one who commented that if everything's met in the subdivision regulations, he said deputy county counselor, but was the county counselor here?
And I can give more guidance here in a second. I would just ask the speaker for a point of clarification. When you reference substreets and contingent right-of-way dedications, that's in reference to the reserve being established between lots 1, 2, 3, and 4, correct?
Correct. Originally, the plat had an easement there. The commission here requested that it be changed to a reserve so the township didn't have to maintain it, that it would be a private driveway maintained by the property owners of the served property. We are certainly more than willing to then make this a contingent easement or right-of-way so that if somebody decides to develop the property to the north, that they can go ahead and hook onto that, and then they are responsible under the subdivision regulations for actually putting in that street.
Okay, then I'd have a second question either for yourself or for staff. Are lots 1, 2, and 3, and 4 all served by a different public street? Or is this meant to provide service to some of those lots?
When you say service to some of the, I'm not sure. I mean, this serves we actually have, I believe, 2 reserves. One is on the west side, one is in between. So we've got lots 1 and 2, I believe, are served by the one, and then lots 3 and 4 are served by the other one. And well, I take that back. Then there's a larger lot on the end of each one of them. So there are 3 lots on each one.
Okay, so to reiterate my question, for 2 of the lots, is access only through this questioned reserve?
There would be a total of 4 lots that are accessible by the reserve, 2 of them by one of them and 2 of them by the other.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, I believe on the plat and the platter's text, and I'm looking at a real small version, so I can't read it, but I believe one reserve says that it is for access to lots 1 and 2 and the unplatted tract, and then the second reserve indicates that it serves lots 3 and 4 and a second unplatted tract.
I believe that's correct.
Yes.
Okay. All right, I do have further statements. I'll certainly defer to Daniel next. I think it's a question for the board. If you want me to respond directly and allow the speaker to counter my comments, or if you just want me to hold off and wait and present them later to you when you bring it back to the board.
What's the pleasure of the board?
I'd recommend holding off.
Okay. Do we need a vote on that, or?
No, just general preferences.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for the agent or
I
applicant?
have questions for the applicant.
Commissioner Austin?
But not the attorney, for Dan Garber. So I wasn't here for the last meeting, but I did watch the discussion and had some questions. The plat, there was some discussions about the 20 acres that are unplatted tracts to the north. Some contemplation that those would have access across those reserves at the last meeting. Is that correct, that those 20 acres would and behind the platted lots would have access to those reserves?
Yes, the west reserve A would provide access to the lots 3 and 4, and also the 20-acre tract to the north of lot 3. And then reserve B would be for lots 1 and 2, and the 20-acre tract to the north of 2.
Okay, and then because those are 20 acres, is that the reason why you didn't plat them?
Yes, he was hoping to go ahead and sell those and not wait on the platting process.
Okay. Have you filed the boundary surveys, certificate of survey with the county for those 20 acres already?
I don't believe so yet.
Was that your intention to file those
We will, yeah.
prior to or subsequent to the plat?
I've been holding him off to make sure that we don't do something that would affect the plat. But he has requested the surveys of those, and so at some point in time, we'll have to have those recorded.
But the difficulty I have with them not being as part of the plat is they are benefiting from the reserves, and the reserves, as if I remember correctly on the discussion, the reserves were contemplated that all the properties that would be the benefit of those reserves help share in the maintenance of those reserves as
And
well.
that was my argument with him, why we needed to wait for the 20 acres until after the plat, because there is no reserve to grant them access until the plat is approved and recorded.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that it doesn't make sense to not just have those 20 acres as platted lots. I mean, okay, thanks, Dan. Oh, one other question for the applicant. This is in the rural water district, Sedgwick County 1, and similar to the other plat that we approved earlier. The difference with this one is there is a rural water district line that runs along Webb Road. Have you contacted the rural water district?
We have not.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, any other questions for the agent or applicant? Seeing none. We will wait to hear back from county legal at this point.
Yeah, thank you. Kirk Sponsel, Deputy County Counselor. First off, I will state what I am generally in agreement with legal counsel. It was stated that, hey, you have to basically follow the subdivision regulations. You're not supposed to make additional requirements that are outside the scope of the subdivision regulations. They quote case law. I would agree with that. I would actually point out, I think prior legal counsel here, Justin Wagner, at the last meeting even cited that case. So I am in agreement with that. So big picture, hey, you need to follow subdivision regulations, right? Now going more narrowly into the questions of the reserve between lots 1, 2, 3, and 4. Part of my questions were focused primarily on lot 2. Does lot 2 have any access out of that subdivision other than through that reserve? And my understanding from Daniel Schrant, the answer is no. Correct, Daniel?
Correct. It accesses through the reserve only.
Okay, the reason I asked these questions and the reason I asked about the substreets and the contingent right-of-way is there may have been some focus on how the properties to the north are getting access, and I think that was some of the focus on the substreet or the contingent right-of-way dedication. But I would actually point everyone to a different specific requirement that's section 7-104 access. And it says all lots, tracts, or parcels located in a subdivision or unplatted development shall be served directly by a public street, except that private streets may be permitted as part of a plat approved by the appropriate governing body. Private streets may be permitted to serve an unplatted tract, parcel, or platted lot if there is an irrevocable covenant of record to provide for the perpetual ownership, continuance, and maintenance of the private street. The covenant must be approved by the governing body whose engineer approves streets per section 8-102 of these regulations. So based on that, I think it does say it either needs to be a public street or you may allow it to be a private street with the recorded covenant. So at this point, I would say it's actually up to your discretion which route you want to do.
Thank you. Commissioner Austin?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Counselor. I have that provision here as well, and it does talk about the irrevocable covenant of record. Just to refresh my memory and maybe to reiterate, because I think there were a couple other commissioners that were not at the last hearing. I'd like to hear from Chief Timmons, just a recap about some of the issues with these types of plats that had been previously. I know you were very adamant about some of the problems that that you're facing or occurring that you would like for us to address in our deliberations. And I'm having way forward, but I just want if you could recap that.
Yeah, first of all, and as quoted, this plat does meet the service drive requirements. That being said, also being a member of the addressing committee in Sedgwick County, if you come in here and address these 4 lots consecutively, and then at some point these 2 20-acre tracts come into play, there's no way to address them, which is a problem for emergency services. In lieu of a road, I would also have a problem with both accesses being east and west of lots 3 and 4. So if it is approved or considered without a road, I would ask that the reserve, sorry, I'm old and I can't read.
The one in the middle is B.
The middle, is that reserve A?
The middle one is B.
Okay, I would ask that the reserve B be moved to the east side of the properties, because the real world application of this is they're going to put whoever moves in first is going to put a culvert with the township, and they're going to put a driveway in. And everybody else is going to look at the cheapest way to get a driveway to their home. These are all recorded by separate instrument. The plat does show which lots are supposed to be served. But the reality is when they pull their building permit, they're going to run their driveway to whatever road they want. And we could end up with 3 driveways on the center, maybe 4. If we get 3 on the center, it makes the 40 acres to the north undevelopable. If anybody lot splits on the first 4, it totally makes the back 40 acres or 20 that would be serviced by that reserve undevelopable. That's the contingent for a road is there, that's fine. But by separate instrument, these first 4 lots are going to be deemed the maintenance construction costs of this section of road or driveway. So now when you go and you put another thing in, somebody's built their $500,000 house, they've paid $60,000 or $80,000 for a drive, and now you're going to come back and tell them they have to pay for a road to service the properties to the north. These are the phone calls.
And so,
Block 1, lots 3, 4, and 5 of the Sunflower Grove Edition, which is 357th Street West Court or 75th Street Court. Sorry. Lot owner number 5, I was on the phone with him off and on, along with the Register of Deeds office, trying to find this separate instrument because his 2 neighbors on 3 and 4 and 5 are supposed to share one driveway. One neighbor on lot 3 says they're going straight to the cul-de-sac. The owner of lot 4 says he's going straight to the stub before the lollipop of the cul-de-sac, which leaves one homeowner paying for this entire driveway, going 600 and some feet back to his own property, even though by separate instrument, it says all 3 owners are supposed to share in the construction costs and the maintenance costs. And now we have neighbors potentially suing neighbors. And this is just it's not a holistic look. Yes, the plat complies with the service drive code, but it's a horrible way of doing it because it just causes nothing but problems for staff addressing, MABCD, fire.
okay, so stepping in here, Chief, some of what you're saying, you say generally speaking, this does qualify for the service drive, does comply with the regulations, but from a practical aspect, it's not advantageous, and you listed numerous reasons. Is that a fair synopsis?
That is a fair synopsis.
Okay, so what I would say is part of your considerations are outside of the subdivision regulations. So you cannot require things that are not in the code or in the fire code or things of that nature. But what I could say in this circumstance is some of the concerns that the chief has raised does go back to the question I asked before, which is the propriety of either a public street through the middle or a private street that's also guarded by covenant. You could use part of his concerns in that consideration. I'm also looking at Daniel as well.
I've got a couple of things I'd like to talk about in the subdivision regulations. One, to back up the fire chief's point of view, and then have something that is in favor of the applicant that I want to point out, that I just want to make sure everyone's aware of. So first, if we're looking at these reserves and either making them right-of-way or contingent right-of-way, so they could eventually become streets on both these, there is a requirement in the subdivision regulations that says double frontage lots shall not be platted for individual dwellings, except where the lots abut upon limited access highway or arterial streets. So we shouldn't have a lot that has a road on the east side and a road on the west side. That's not permitted in the subdivision regulations. So that is, for anyone keeping score, that is section 7204G. So that would not be allowed for those to become roads in that case. To the applicant's credit, and I just want to make sure, and this, it is in conflict with the direct access that lots are supposed to have that we read earlier. But under the reserve section for 7207G, it does allow that reserves for private drive purposes may be platted to provide access to lots provided a covenant is filed that not only sets forth ownership and maintenance of the private drive reserves, but also future reversionary rights of the reserve to the lots benefiting from the reserve. The platter's text shall reference the platting of the reserve for private drive purposes and shall state which lots are to be accessed by the reserve. For residential plats, not more than 3 lots shall be dependent upon any one private drive reserve for their access to either a public or private street system. So in this case, they've platted a reserve. They've indicated which lots are to be served by that reserve. If it was to be a contingent right-of-way, I think we end up with the double frontage issue that we have that I pointed out earlier. But I would also say, at the same time, we have the requirement in here, and I made sure that it got on our staff comments about a waiver for stub streets, because each plat is supposed to provide connections, stub streets, to unplatted adjacent tracts. And in this case, we have 2 20-acre adjacent plats, and so that is also related to this, that a waiver would be required for that.
Commissioner Austin?
Madam Chairman, I'm ready to make a motion on this if there's no further discussion on the plat.
Believe we need to hear back from the agent or applicant for rebuttal. Or I guess I haven't asked for public.
I don't know there was anything to rebut, was there?
Is there anyone from the public who'd like to speak on this? Seeing none.
No,
You'll have 3 minutes.
yeah, I'm not for the public, I'm rebuttal.
Correct. Let me just make one response to the chief's request to put the driveway along the east side. We have to have 660 feet between driveways, and there is a driveway right along the east side of the property that goes to the adjacent house to the north. And so we weren't able to put a driveway over there, or we would have. Thank you.
One thing, the chief's comment about them being then required to, the owners of the property being required to pay for the street going in, and 7201 very specifically states that the person wanting to develop the adjacent property is the one that has to pay for the street going in. It's not going to fall to the owners of the properties in the plat here, or the 220-acre lots. The cost of constructing said street are to be borne by the person or agency that owns said adjacent subdivision. So we're not talking about potentially imposing any cost on any people who purchase these lots at all when it comes to putting in a street.
Daniel?
Yeah, I just want to point out on that the cost of constructing said street shall be borne by the persons or agency that owns said adjacent subdivision. That is for contingent right-of-way which we do not have on this plat. We have a reserve, but we don't have a contingent right-of-way, correct?
And I believe that was what we were proposing to cure the objections that were brought up last time. We had the easement. The commission said, no, we don't want an easement there because then the township's going to wind up maintaining it. We want reserves so that the lot owners have to maintain it. And so we've changed it to the reserves. And I believe Mr. Garber at the very first beginning of the comment said that we are certainly willing to provide for a contingent easement in the across there so that there isn't a problem with that we can go ahead and put in the it does call for the plat to have the right of way for it. It doesn't require that the street actually be put in.
Go ahead, Chief Timmons.
Yeah, Chief Timmons, Sedgwick County Fire District Number 1. I just want to clarify, is the owner of the 40 acres to the north the same as the owners for the 4 lots currently trying to be platted? So if you cannot meet the subsidy regs on not having double frontage for lots 3 and 4, it seems to me the most holistic solution to this entire development is to do a center road, because as you've admitted, at some point the owner to the north has to pay for that road in the first place. That's kind of where I was coming from. Yes, it meets the service drive code, but it doesn't fully comply with the subdivision regulations by not having the double frontage.
But those lots are going to be sold as residential lots, people with 20 acres. So it's going to be, if they want to come back and say, we want to subdivide this, we're tired of having 20 acres, we want to divide this into 4 or 5 acre lots or 2 10-acre lots or whatever. So they're going to have to come back here to do that. They're not going to be able to just decide to divide the lots. And so if they decide they want to do that, whoever purchases that eventually, then they can come back and they're going to be the ones responsible for for putting in the street. Those 2 20-acre lots are for sale and they will be sold once everything gets settled here.
Okay, Chief Timmons.
And one last concern I have is what happens if lots 1 and 2 subdivide prior to that, or lots 3 and 4 subdivide prior to that and do a lot split. Then that 40 acres is landlocked and cannot be developed short of putting this roadway in.
The reserve is going to wind up having to be, I mean, it's recorded. They're not going to be able to subdivide their land and do away with those reserves. They're going to go with the property. So, and again, if they want to subdivide, they're going to have to come back here to do it and to get the permission for a lot split. So, I mean, that's not something that really at this point should be a concern. You have control of that if they want to come back and split those lots. And that would violate the subdivision regulations as they exist right now, because that would mean that there were more lots served by the reserves than is allowed. So all you have to do is deny that lot split.
Thank you, sir. You may have a seat.
Thank you.
We'll go ahead and bring it back to commission for discussion, action. Commissioner Austin.
This is all interesting, and obviously a lot of some legal aspects for considerations. One thing that I note, and it's not something that we do very frequently, but I note that under section 5-302, paragraph D, section 2 says a copy of any existing or proposed deed restrictions or covenants that affect the property is required by a agency or governing body. That it is supposed to be submitted at the time of the preliminary plat. And historically, I've submitted plats here for 30 years and we've never done that, and I'd hesitate to request that. But these particular subdivisions, like this one that we're considering, are unique and unusual, and have brought forth a lot of different aspects that historically we haven't dealt with. And so unusual circumstances, I think, kind of justify unusual request. And so what I would do is I would make a motion to defer this plat for 30 days, subject to the applicant submitting any restrictions and covenants, proposed covenants to address things in terms of the construction, maintenance, owners association. It's also a requirement under section 104. There would be an irrevocable covenant of record for any private streets, and my recommendation is the applicant plat those as private streets with 70 foot of right of way, and that we would consider complete access control to address the question of double fronted lots. I'm not sure there's much more we can do than that, but I believe it's appropriate for those to be private streets. In the future, maybe those become public streets, but certainly to the extent if they're private streets, we need to consider how those are going to be constructed and maintained in the future. The other thing I'd like to do is I'd also ask the applicant to contact the Rural Water District and provide us with a letter from the Rural Water District as to the availability of water to serve this development, so we can be confident that there is a water supply. Absent a letter from the Rural Water District saying they can't supply it, I'd like to see the applicant provide some testing for water wells to determine the availability of water, and also include some water quality tests on that as well.
Kirk Spelson, Dauphin County Councilor. At this point in time, I don't think you can require the water testing.
I'll stay with my motion.
Okay, we have a motion to defer to, I'm looking at the calendar, I believe it's August 6th.
Second. Yes.
A motion to defer by Commissioner Austin and a second by Commissioner Johnson. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 7-0. Moving to item 9. It is sub 2026-00028. It's the Moorings Plaza Edition, a one-step final plat on West 53rd Street North and a quarter mile west of North Meridian Avenue. It's in the city. We'll hear from staff.
Good morning, Greg Sharon. Planning staff here to present Maureen's Plaza Edition. This is a 15-lot commercial subdivision within the city. There are no waivers requested by the applicant. Go through staff comments. Item A, City Public Works requests utility plan, water extension needed, request a couple of easements, and like I noted before, item 5 has been removed. Item B, city stormwater management approved the drainage plan. Item C, city fire, standard comment regarding hydrant locations. Item D, traffic engineering, dimensions needed. Lot 14 is not labeled. Discuss access to lot 1. We don't see any openings, and right-of-way width is approved. Item E, planning, no comment. Item F, county surveying to comment at time of final plat submittal. And item G, Evergy will not request additional easements, and Kansas Gas notes that there is a main and easement in the area. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Any questions for staff? Seeing none, thank you, Greg. Any questions or comments from the advisory board? Go ahead.
Vicky with Evergy, 4025 North Tobin. We did request easement and we did forward it to the agent. Just wanted to say that.
Thank you.
Matt Schultz, City Engineering. We received a utility plan, and due to some of the depths and potentially making those shallower, and also the existence or plan of sewer water storm sewer, sanitary sewer, and water all in the same easement. We're gonna work with the agent to discuss easement widths, that's specifically between lots 1 through 13, with the exception of 4, 8, and 12. On the south side of those lots, also in between lots 7 and 9. And so, yeah, we'll work with them before MAPC meeting is the plan.
Okay, thank you for the update. Agent or applicant, you have 10 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good morning, Brian Lindeback, MKEC Engineering, 411 North Webb Road, on behalf of the owner applicant. Thank you, staff. Yes, we are working presently with engineering on some of those easements. So item 1, we're getting that sorted out, and item 6, I've got some questions with staff on that, but we'll again work that out because we are going to be paying for water main fees. We understand there will be a main that's needed along 53rd Street. We'll probably end up using some of those main fees to build that water line, presuming an arterial project with a CIP project doesn't build that main first. By the time this property is developed, those are some chicken and egg type questions at that time. But we're certainly going to do a water main fee for that. With regard to 7 and 8, those are main reasons why I'm up here today. We've had a lot of history in this area. Most recently, we've platted the courtyards at the Moorings addition. In that development, we abandoned the aqueduct easement and removed it. Previous to that was the Moorings 10th edition. We worked with the client on that project as well, and we abandoned the water line easement. Well, the easement was already abandoned. The water line was actually abandoned, the aqueduct easement. We physically removed it at that time. That was back in 2006. And there was another plat that we did. It was actually for the Moorings HOA. They own a lot. I think it's Reserve D or B. I forget what it is. It's been a little while. It was, I think, closer to 2008 or so. Same story. We actually were required with that plat to petition to pull that old abandoned aqueduct easement or aqueduct line out of the ground. And that lot just so happens has not been developed since we platted that years ago. That said, we are confused as to why there would be a need to maintain this waterline aqueduct easement. Moreover, to the north of this property, there was an aqueduct easement as far as I understand, and that too has been abandoned and removed with that subdivision to the north of this. So that said, I don't think there's any appetite to have this old aqueduct easement on the property because it does encumber a significant amount of land, and the physical pipe has been removed from the ground. Those are things that we need to discuss with staff, but we're going to continue to work with them on that topic and try to understand their position. But as far as we understand, this easement is dead. It has no purpose, and so that's what we're trying to figure out with staff. And we just haven't had a chance to sit down and talk with them specifically on that topic. So that answers that. And yes, we are working with Evergy. We've actually updated the plat and provided them a copy of the updated easements that they had requested.
Okay.
Stand for any questions?
Any questions for the agent?
Matt Schultz, City Engineering. I don't believe that portion of the pipe has been removed. As I understand it, it's still in the ground.
I can assure you it's gone. We worked with the contractor when the Moorings 10th edition was put in, and it was removed.
Yeah, I'm not sure then, but we'd have to verify.
Okay. Commissioner Williams Bay.
Yeah, could you indicate on where that easement is on there?
You bet. It runs roughly right through here, and as you can see to the north, there's some residential lots that have been, were in developed to the north of 53rd there. But yeah, it runs generally right through here. I have the easement plotted. I know where it is. We've like I said, we've been working on moorings developments for many years, and have been working with the owners on that. We will. Anecdotally, we will be connecting a gas line in here. We'll provide the gas company as private easement through this reserve, but I think that's on the next plat.
Looking at items 1 and 6, are those issues that you think could be worked out within the next week?
I would hope so. Yeah, 1 and 6 for certain. I'm not certain on 7 and 8. I think we can resolve those two, but until we understand where they're coming from on that, it's really hard to say. But my goal would be, if we don't get those items reserved, we can certainly defer at Planning Commission, presumably next week. So, but we would like to continue on with this process.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Austin?
Just had to clarify for me, did you say you, on the moorings 10th, you didn't show that aqueduct easement?
Yes, it was on the Moorings 10th edition. It got vacated with the Moorings 10th edition. And just so everybody's clear, the Moorings 10th edition is right through here. We're replatting a handful of those lots on that next case that we're going to be bringing forth. But yeah.
Okay, so point clarification, you said it was shown on the 10th, but it was vacated with the 10th.
Well,
did you not show it or show it
on that
the
part of
plat?
that plat? Yes, it was removed from the plat because it was vacated with the KSA 512B.
Okay, but there's no separate easement vacation case. It's just you vacated it with the plat.
Correct. It actually was taken by condemnation. I've actually given staff the original condemnation case years and years ago. So it's an old case.
It seems to me like I mean, I'm fine with not requiring it, but at the same time, it seems to me like there's, especially that last deal. I mean, I've got a quiet title action going on a deal right now on some right of way that acquired by condemnation, and I'm not sure, I'm not a lawyer, but I think you really need to talk to the city about that, whether that easement has been properly vacated or not.
With the condemnation, you can vacate with KSA 512B. Yes.
Okay. Well, we're both engineers, so we'll leave it there, but thank you.
Thank you.
City Water?
City of Wichita Public Works and Utilities. Like Brian said, well, I'd like to keep 7 and 8. I'd like to keep all of our comments except for number 5. The request to keep this easement came from pretty far above us. So further discussion is needed. They may come to an agreement, and then if the higher ups agree to that, then it could proceed to MAPC. But we would just need further discussion, and that's not something we can discuss.
Yeah, and for what it's worth, I did confirm with the owner of the property, and I conferred with others in our organization that pipe was removed back in with the 10th edition improvements. So.
Any other questions for the agent? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission for discussion or action.
I'll make a motion to approve, subject to staff comments with the exceptions of items 5, 7, and 8, and grant the modification of the waiver.
Okay, we have a commission.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Austin and a second by Commissioner High. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 7-0.
Just while we're on that, for the staff, on the development right to the north, they platted over that same thing. I mean, there's no easement, so whoever you're talking with upstairs, you just need to get that worked out.
Yeah, they've directed us that they don't want to continue to lose easement.
Moving to item 10, sub 2026-00029. It's a one-step final plat for the Moorings 12th edition. It's located at 53rd Street North and a quarter-mile west of North Meridian. It's in the city.
Good morning, Greg Sharon, planning staff here to represent Moorings Plaza 12th edition. This is a 9-lot residential plat within the city. There is one waiver, lot to depth ratio. Item A, city public works comments, utility plan submitted, water extension needed, water line easement, as noted earlier. Item item 5 has been removed. Item B, city stormwater management drainage plan was submitted and approved. Item F, standard comment regarding hydrant locations. Item D, traffic engineering, no comment. Item E, JS to approve of street names. Item F, planning, restrictive covenant needed for the private street, and a financial guarantee for paving of private street. Item G, county surveying, comment at time of final Mylar submittal. And item F, Evergy is already installed here. And with that, I would stand for questions.
Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none, any updates or comments from Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none, applicant or agent, you have 10 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Yes, Brian Lindeback, MKEC Engineering, 411 North Webb Road, on behalf of the owner and applicant. Yeah, this is pretty much a repeat of the last comments. We're continuing to work with staff on some additional easement requests on item 1, which I think we're all in agreement with what they're asking for, so we'll take care of that. As far as 6 and 7, the same comments reside for what we just discussed on a previous case. I would just point out this is a little unusual plat, given that we're replatting a part of a reserve back here. I just want to make sure everybody's tracking. We are not replatting any of these lots here. We did show them just for context, but we are platting these 2 lots over here. We've replatted that, and previously we've attempted to change the street name there, so that boardwalk will become Boardwalk Circle there for these 2 lots. But yeah, we're in agreement with staff comments other than items 5, 6, and 7.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for the agent? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you.
Have a seat. Is there anyone from the public who would like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we can bring it back to the commission for action.
Move to approve per staff comments with the exceptions of items 5, 6, and 7,
Does that include the waiver?
and includes the waiver. So
Okay. We have a motion by Commissioner Austin and a second by Commissioner High. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Passes 7-0. On item number 11, we've received some more information. We've already voted on this item, but we are able to revisit the item, reopen it, if we have a motion to rehear this item.
Chairperson, may I go a little further into that?
Yes.
We have the engineer here on that item. He was here when the consent agenda was read through. He was just unaware of our process. So he would like to perhaps reopen this and hear the case if the board so chooses.
Do we have a motion?
I'll move to reconsider.
Okay, I'll second. We have a motion to rehear by Commissioner Mader and a second by Commissioner Jewell. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Passes 7-0 to rehear. This is item number 11. It's the sub 2026-00040. It's a one-step final plat for the Somewhere Edition on East 2nd Street in North Emporia. It's in the city. We'll hear from staff first.
Okay. Craig Sharon, planning staff, here to present Somewhere Edition. This is a 6-lot commercial subdivision. This is a replat of a portion of J.R. Mead's Edition. There are no waivers requested. Item A, City Public Works requests some utilities easements. Item B, City Stormwater Management has approved the plat. Item C, standard fire comment regarding hydrant locations. Item D, traffic engineering, no comment. Item E, just some labeling, some corrections to some text. Item F, county surveying to comment at time of final Mylar submittal. And item G, Evergy will not need to request additional easements. So with that, I will stand for questions.
Thank you, Greg. Are there any questions for staff? Seeing none. Any additional comments from the Utility Advisory Board? Seeing none. Agent or applicant, you'll have 10 minutes to speak. If you please state your name and address for the record.
Kurt Hershey, 13621 East Aceberry. I'm the engineer representing the applicant. I apologize. We moved so quick. I need to speak towards comments 2 and 3 from the utilities department. Lot 5, which is on the east side of the subdivision on Emporia, is not intended to receive a building at any point in time. And so a utility easement necessary for sewer service wouldn't be needed. We can turn that into a reserve if that would help, but it could be served by the right-of-way on Emporia. I know that's not preferred, but at this time, there's no intent to build a building on Lot 5. It's the entry plaza into the large commercial building. And so that would apply to comments 2 and 3. Public sanitary sewer must be extended to Lot 5. Petition is required. Comment 3 requests a 20-foot utility easement from the existing 20-foot alley to Lot 5.
Could you use the cursor to point out lot 5? There you go. Thank you.
The alleyway that's being discussed is here. It will be turned into a 20-foot utility easement. It just doesn't connect to Lot 5.
While they're reviewing that, does anyone else have any questions for the agent? Okay, hold tight.
Sorry, I missed. What was it? What's the intention of it?
It'll be a plaza, just an open space. They won't have a building on it. They wanted to basically have different entities hold different pieces.
This is for lot 5, you're saying?
Yeah, Lot 5 won't ever have a building on it.
So I don't think building intent is what controls the requirement to have access to public utilities. So as I understand, then you would still need some kind of easement in case somebody else bought it and they built something and it would.
If we turned it into a reserve, would that satisfy the comment?
Yeah, we don't generally require easements and utility access to reserves.
Okay.
I believe it would.
That's what we'll do then.
And I think then the platter's text would, and maybe we can work it out, but then the platter's text may say something about what the use of the reserve would be, and then that should, I think, satisfy.
Okay.
So to clarify, you're in agreement with his request, with the applicant's request?
To convert, convert lot 5 to a reserve, would then, we would no longer need item 2, to extend easement to lot 5, if it is then converted into a reserve.
Okay,
2 or 3, both comments.
Yes, correct. And then, and the platter's text would restrict, what's built in Reserve 5, which we will work out.
okay, thank you. Are there any other questions for the applicant? Thank you.
And thank you too for reopening it.
We'll bring it back to, is there anyone else from the public who'd like to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission for a vote.
Madam Chairman, move to approve, subject to staff comments, recommending that Lot 5 be platted as reserve and thereby eliminating conditions 2 and 3.
Second.
We have a motion to approve by Commissioner Austin and a second by Commissioner High. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Passes 7-0. And with that, we are adjourned. Unless Commissioner Austin has more to talk about.
That's why we're going to be day drinking all week. Tested today and handled it very well.
Thanks.
Recording stopped.
It's like, Leon, pull through with me on this substitute motion. I was like, Leon, pull through on this substitute motion.
I was staying with you. We're always going to fight for whether it makes sense or not. We will tilt those windmills.
I should have better argued it because it's like, you could put a sidewalk next to a school. Like that, is that dangerous? You know, like, I don't know. It just